Here's our food for thought today. To live is the rarest thing in the world because most people simply exist. So, have you been merely existing without living? What does it even mean to live? And does your living even have meaning? These are some questions we will be exploring in today's podcast, and I'm glad that you can join me. Hello, listeners of IPS. With that, I'd like to welcome you to Work in Progress, a podcast where we talk about mental wellness with IPS. I'm your host, Naomi, and today we will be continuing our theme on self-management. Specifically, we'll be addressing how to go beyond merely existing to live a more meaningful life. So, let me paint a picture for you. It is another day at work. You walk into your workplace and you feel like, here we go again. You work for the sake of working, eat for the sake of eating, and you live without a sense of what is to come next. In short, you just feel like, another day of work, another day to pass. If this picture sounds extremely familiar to you, well then, you are not alone. At some point of our lives, or many points, we might lose sight of our purpose, our drive, our meaning in life. That's part and parcel of life. There are ups and downs, but why would we leave it in the downs? Before our conversation gets any deeper, let's properly define what it means to live a life that is meaningful. So, according to a few studies we've read, the concept of meaningfulness is three-dimensional. It consists of 1, purpose, 2, significance, and 3, coherence. These are big words. Let me break it down. Purpose is a drive someone has towards a desired goal. Significance refers to the belief that our life has value and is worth living for. Coherence refers to how events fit into the timeline of our lives. And so, to recap, it is believed that to have a meaningful life, you will need a purpose, to attach significance to your life, and the ability to see a coherence in your life events. And with this, you might be thinking, right? Well, this is complicated. Like, why do I have to pursue meaning when I can just pursue happiness? I just need to live and work enough that I can buy the things I want, and that's all good, right? After all, that's what we hear most of the time. Don't worry, be happy, lead a happy life, Well, this is where the irony lies. 2 interesting studies we came across in our research found that pursuing the feeling of happiness through whatever means, be it earning more money, buying cars, getting the latest iPhone models, or gaining more recognition from others, ultimately makes you feel less happy. What? Compared to those who were not actively pursuing the feeling of happiness, people who did pursue the feeling of happiness experienced less happiness when they actually attain the situation to be happy for. Not only that, they also experience less happiness in their day-to-day living, like even when there's no eventful situation in their life. That's strange, right? So one possible explanation could be that when the feeling of happiness is the goal, once you've attained it, it loses its purpose. You then chase after the next moment of happiness without knowing why you are doing that. Now, on the other hand, those who pursued meaning, such as the desire to help the underprivileged, seeking out self-development, working towards career growth, maintaining and encouraging close friendships, these people were found to 1, be more resilient, 2, perform better at work, and 3, have a longer lifespan. Well, doesn't this sound great? So in short, it seems the pure pursuit of happy feelings is futile. If it's happiness we're after, we'll be sorely disappointed because the feeling will fade. But if you pursue a purpose, despite there being setbacks and sadness, it gives you a hope to hold on to because you have a greater goal. So your setback or sadness simply seems like another piece in the puzzle of your life, and we are able to move on. Now, I found a few other benefits of pursuing a meaningful life. Let's go through them together. Firstly, having a purpose improves our mental well-being. How, you might ask? It is by increasing our desire to keep busy. This is important because prolonged inactivity might manifest itself in feelings of restlessness, anxiety, or depression. Thus, when you have a purpose, it helps steer our mental energy away from negative or demotivating chatter in our minds and channel our thoughts, feelings, and efforts to productive activities. Second, having a purpose helps us to gain a wider perspective on problems we face. So we become more aware that we are part of a bigger goal and our struggles may just be obstacles we have to pass in the process. In many cases, having meaning can help us view adversity from different lenses and increase emotional resilience. For example, if we find purpose in consistent personal growth, we would then see challenges as something that tests our strengths instead of something that will knock us down. Adversity will no longer be dismissed as a negative occurrence with no value, but rather reframed as opportunities to grow. As such, we focus less on worrying and more on the concrete steps we can take to move forward. With all these benefits said, I acknowledge that sometimes it is difficult to find your purpose. If you'd allow me to be honest with you, I also recently had to search for the meaning in my life. So, story time. I'm trying not to be dramatic here, but it was triggered by a change in my job role at work. Just like to preface this story by saying that it was not that I hated the new job role, because there were still good reasons to change the new role. Please don't fire me. It was just that it did not immediately align with the initial goals and understanding that I had for myself in life. So to give you some context, I've always had the intention to go into the field of psychology to help people. I had decided this very early in my life, since Sec 1, and I worked towards it. So fast forward 3 years of psych in poly and another 4 more years in uni, I'm now a psychologist in ICA, and it's a job that allowed me to help the people around me. The help that I could provide was very tangible, and the results were fairly immediate, like counseling and teaching others how to help others. So for me then, my job was so meaningful. But that changed when I took up the new job role. So this role now dealt more with planning, organizational development, and research on leadership. So all of a sudden, all the work that I was involved in no longer felt like it tangibly helped anyone. The more I worked, the more I questioned what I was doing. I guess it got so bad one day that I just didn't feel like turning on my work computer anymore. And I just had like zero motivation to do work. And I felt it in my gut. Yeah. So that was when I told myself that this could not continue any longer. I had to stop and reflect on what my current work meant to me. And it was not helpful to me nor the quality of my work that I continue to feel unmotivated. So I reflected. I first asked myself if there was anything I still liked about this job. And the answer was a tentative yes, but a yes nonetheless. So then, my next question was a bit more difficult to answer. I asked myself if I could still achieve my initial goal of helping others in my new job role. For this, I thought long and hard. Eventually, I'm thankful that I arrived at a solid yes. I realized that the planning, development, and leadership research that I did could still help people. Specifically, I would be able to help leaders improve and become better leaders. And these better leaders in turn make the work culture better. And better work culture means better officers. So I saw then that the organizational level work that I did still goes on to impact and help the individual people in the organization. Yeah. So now I'd say I found the meaning in my work again. I'm motivated to do well again. From this little ordeal, I also learned that a meaningful life is not something that one should expect to fall on their laps. It's easy to look at others enjoying themselves and wonder how come they're so lucky to be able to find a meaning in their lives and how come I cannot, right? But the truth is that meaningfulness should not be passively found. Instead, it should be proactively created in every environment that you're in. So when I came across this next article I'm going to share with you, I was pleasantly surprised that other people came to this conclusion too. So this article compiled a few ways in which we can find our meaning in life. And these tips are centered around the 3 dimensions of meaningfulness that we chatted about a little bit earlier. So let's get on to it. Firstly, purpose. So to enhance your sense of purpose, recognize what makes you feel fulfilled. Try to recall the last thing you did that made you feel fulfilled. Was it to help others? Perhaps it was to create new music, maybe to see that you improved in a new skill. If you're having trouble thinking about the last time you felt fulfilled, then take initiative to explore different interests. It could be making your own barista coffee, visiting exhibitions, picking up a new language, or even just trying out new food. Fulfillment can come from the simplest things in life, and it is on you to see the meaning in it. Secondly, significance. Did you know that the significance one places on their lives is directly associated with a sense of belongingness? So try reaching out to more like-minded people and be part of those communities. It could look like your religious group, volunteer organizations, or even an exercise group. The key here is to develop relationships that understand you. Again, it does not mean that you have to go out there and make as many friends as possible if you don't feel comfortable. Instead, start off small. Start from the people closest to your heart. Initiate conversations with your family, your friends, your colleagues that you work closely with about things that make you feel fulfilled. So discussions and conversations about your purpose might help you to see a greater significance in it. Finally, coherence. To gain a better understanding of how all the events in your life fall together, engage in consistent reflections. Reflect on things or events that trigger an emotional response in you. Recall why you wanted to work at your organization in the first place. Reflect on activities that re-energize you. Actively look for creative ways that can fulfill your purpose in every aspect of your life, at your workplace, at home, out with friends. For example, if you are passionate about teaching, take the initiative to provide guidance to a new and struggling colleague. At home, come up with teaching curriculum for something fun for your children, like how to make paper mache or something. Engaging in those small initiatives will help add up and give you meaning to your life, both within and out of work. So don't mind the shameless plug. But if you're looking for a way to better engage in self-reflection, you know, the one that we keep talking about, you can tune in to other episodes in this series like mindfulness. With that, I want to emphasize that your reflection cannot be a once-off event. Your life is ever evolving, and so should your reflections. So try and create a fixed routine to relax and reflect. It may help you to declutter your mind and focus on what really matters, your purpose in life. All right, I've talked for a while now. If you've taken nothing away, I hope that you at least take away the understanding that purpose is not magic. It's something we must consciously create and then pursue. With a new perspective, almost any event can be seen as meaningful and part of a cause, your cause in particular. So we hope that this episode has helped you better understand the importance of finding your meaning in life. The next time you feel Sian, take some time out to reassess your purpose. Dig deep and stop being a human doing and start being a human being. It might take a while, but it is okay. We are all a work in progress. With that, we have come to the end of this episode on living a meaningful life. Thank you so much for tuning in, and do follow our channel on Spotify and Telegram for more updates. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye!